also the edition preceding the decision day in Nigeria. Welcome. My name is Michael Oni, and I'm being joined by my friend and also my colleague, Sampson. Good evening to you, Sampson.
Good evening to you, Michael. Well, the excitement is building, and then no tension, and somehow the ill word, the ill word that actually dawned upon us around this time on Friday, logistics. Nobody's hearing about logistics again.
Exactly.
That moment is gradually coming upon us.
And I believe no more postponement.
We hope so. The assurances have been reassuring, just to put it that way.
I think we should begin this evening from Abuja, where the National Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commissioner, I'm talking about the chairman rather, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, and the acting Inspector General of Police, Mr. Mohammed Adamu, gave updates on the preparation of the rescheduled elections with just few hours, 11 hours to be precise. Professor Mahmood Yakubu gave what he described as a final update on what the commission is doing to ensure the elections hold following the one-week shift. And the IGP, on his part, explained what the police are doing to ensure adequate security during the electoral process. I think we should begin. That update was given at the International Conference Center earlier this evening, in Abuja, the nation's capital. And it was about numbers, the numbers of candidates that will be slugging it out, the numbers of seats, talking about the National Assembly, and also the numbers of presidential candidates. Let's listen to him speak.
This being the final briefing, the Commissioner has taken liberty to invite the Inspector General of Police to join us.
Tomorrow is election day. Nigerians will elect a president out of a total of 73 candidates nominated by their political parties. Similarly, voters will choose 109 senators out of 1,880 candidates and 360 members of the House of Representatives out of 4,631 candidates. Voting will take place in 176,973 locations, made up of 119,973 polling units and 57,023 voting points.
Those are the numbers. I think you jotted those numbers down just to be sure of the numbers that will be slugging it out tomorrow, starting by 8 a.m.
Well, it's going to be a tight choice. Imagine over 1,000 senatorial candidates going for just 109 position, and then you have over 4,000 House of Representatives candidates just going for 306 or thereabout positions. So it's going to be a tight choice for Nigerians, but I think we are ready. After that postponement, Nigerians have come to realize the fact that yes, we have to be part of this process, and everybody is ready. And INEC, like I said, the assurances have been reassuring. They have promised that the election would go, and I tell you, in the build-up to the postponed election, there weren't briefings. We're just preparing in the dark.
There has been briefings right from the start of this week. From Monday, there has been daily briefing by the electoral umpire, especially by Professor Mahmood Yakubu.
Exactly. And this evening we confirmed that the president has already arrived in his hometown in Daura, waiting to vote, and Nigerians would be so disappointed if the polls doesn't open tomorrow, by 8 tomorrow.
Sampson, let's look at some other things the chairman of the commission actually said earlier today. He said no PVC, no voting. And he also made some clarifications, like on mobile phone usage at the polling unit, and also the sorting and the counting of ballot papers. He also said that the collation center will be open will open officially on Sunday. That's about 6 p.m. The collation center. Remember that popular collation center where Orubebe displayed himself in 2015? Yes, the same collation center will be open on Sunday by 6 p.m. Let's listen to some other briefings by the commissioner, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
And a voter will only be allowed to vote if his or her name is on the register of voters and after the verification of the PVC and authentication of his or her biometrics by the smart card reader. No telephones and other photographic devices may be brought to the polling units but are not allowed in the voting cubicles. The sorting and counting of ballots will take place at each polling unit, while the first stage of the collation process takes place.
All right, I will have to cut that short. We do have the police public relations officer in Abia State on standby, Geoffrey Ogbonna, okay, to talk to us what is happening, what is going to happen tomorrow in Abia State as it concerns security and also restriction of movement. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Am I speaking with Geoffrey Ogbonna, the police public relations officer in Abia State?
Yes, please.
All right.
I'm Geoffrey Ogbonna, the police public relations officer, Abia State Command.
All right, you're welcome. You're live on Radio Flow 94.9 FM. My name is Michael Oni, and also Sampson Eze is right here. We want you to brief the voters and also the people of Abia State what to expect tomorrow, especially as it concerns the restriction of movement.
Thank you so much. Before now, I have issued a press release to that effect, that there is going to be a restriction on vehicular movements tomorrow from the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And this is just to assist the security agencies carry out their responsibilities effectively and to prevent hoodlums from disrupting the peaceful conduct of the electoral process. So adequate security arrangements have been made and members of the public are enjoined to troop out a mass on the election day to exercise their franchise without fear.
Okay, Piero, maybe you should educate the public once more. How are your men going to operate tomorrow? Are you going to go with arms? Regarding, noting the order given to you people by the president that you should be ruthless on some ballot box snatchers. So are you going to be armed to the polling units tomorrow?
Well, my brother, it's not that every police officer will carry firearms, but where there is the need to bear firearms, our people will bear firearms because that is part of our countrymen.
Okay, what about possession of cash? Because I understand that you're also going to stop vote buying tomorrow. How do you intend to do so? For example, I do have my money on me to buy things, for example, to eat. How do you intend to curb vote buying tomorrow?
Since we are not going to search people to know whether they are carrying about good sums of money, it behoves some members of the public, especially the electorate, to cast their votes, not allowing their votes to be bought from them, and then not willing to sell their votes.
Okay. Let's look at the voters now in a situation whereby I do have my PVC and I'm trying to move around to check to locate my polling unit. For example, I moved to a particular polling unit and my name is not there, and I was told to go to another polling unit to check for my name and to exercise my franchise as a law-abiding citizen of Nigeria. Restriction of movement is in place. How do I intend to achieve this?
You can easily move from one point to the other, but we are talking of restriction on vehicular movement. Vehicular, underlined.
Okay.
Okay, so you can't drive tomorrow, even when you're able to prove that you're going to vote.
My brother, if everybody should be allowed to go to the polling units with his or her vehicle, you will know and believe with me that the whole area will be congested.
Okay.
And there may not be a place for people to to stay for the accreditation.
All right.
Okay, PRO, is there anything like hotline or maybe an emergency line where people can report any infraction tomorrow?
Yes, we have several of it, but I will just mention 4 of such numbers.
Okay.
We have 080-3541-5405.
Okay.
080-354-15405. Then the other 3 are 080-7921-0003. 08079210003. Then the other 2 are similar to this one I just called,
okay,
but with a slight difference of 4 and 5.
That's 7921-0004.
Yes, and
okay,
0005.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Geoffrey Ogbonna, the Police Public Relations Officer in Abia State. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate you. And also, we hope to get back to you as the event unfolds as it concerns this election right here on this platform.
There is no problems.
All right.
Let me also advise members of the public that there is life after election. It is your life. Save it for another election.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
All right, there you have the Police Public Relations Officer making some clarification as it concerns tomorrow's election. Also, at the briefing earlier today in Abuja, the Inspector General of Police made some clarifications too, especially as it concerns the possession of cash, restriction of movement, and also movement of journalists.
I don't think anybody told you not to carry money. If you carry money, maybe you want to buy food or whatever, no problem. And I don't think there's any law that says on election day you should not carry money, no matter how little it is. But if you use the money in buying vote, we will be arrested. Protection of journalists. Journalists, you are protected. If you are accredited, please move about. You'll be protected. But make sure you carry your accreditation with you for us to identify you. And then the chairman had explained concerning you carrying your PVC and you are trying to locate where you will vote, whether the restriction of movement will affect you. The essence of the restriction is to protect you to go and cast your vote. So if you are carrying your PVC and you are looking for polling booth, go ahead and look for a polling booth and then cast your vote. That is the essence of the restriction, to allow you to do that.
Well, Nigerians are anticipating tomorrow, which is the presidential election, and also the National Assembly election. Talk about the lower chamber and also the upper chamber. Sampson Eze.
Yes, it's a big day. I was watching one of the updates, one of this cable TV, and then an official of Drug Customs was actually trying to explain that by law, you're supposed to move, even to drive, even that day, as far as you can prove that you're going to vote. But just like the PRO pointed out, Nigerians are very smart people. Like if you now give such waiver, trust me, you will find plenty of cars everywhere, and in between, something funny would definitely happen. Security wise, we just hope that there wouldn't be an overzealous act. The military, they've promised that they are going to stay away from the polling booths because they are not supposed to be there.
Okay.
And we have the police, who is the leading agency in terms of election. They are supposed to be at the forefront. You have the civil defense and other security apparatus, and then they will be definitely on ground to assist. But we do not want a case of overzealousness. And the PRO was not explicit here. By law, the policeman who is within that perimeter, that polling unit, is not supposed to be armed. But here, I think the thing has been tweaked a bit now. Said if there is need, what is the indices? I mean, what criteria? Okay. How do you justify the bearing of arms by police officers to a polling unit. And then again, if the president is saying deal ruthlessly with ballot box snatchers, I'm very sure that some people who try to snatch the ballot box would definitely be armed. So are you expecting a policeman with just a baton to go and then arrest a guy or a gang of ballot box snatchers who may be armed to the teeth? So these are the things we are looking at. We are hoping that the election tomorrow will come and go. Like the PRO said, there's life after election. And at the moment, the tension has come down. Yeah. I like the spirit everywhere in town. It is not like it's not like what we had on Thursday and then Friday last week. Right now, people are just ready and then to cast their ballot and then let the will of the people prevail. That is our prayer tomorrow, Michael.
And of course, earlier today, the president made a nationwide broadcast on most of the media, most of the platforms here in Nigeria, where the president encouraged Nigerians to go out and vote. That broadcast was live on Flow FM earlier today and also on various media platforms. Let's listen to just a bit of what the president said and how he encouraged Nigerians to go out and vote.
Mr. President, I hereby ask all Nigerians with voting cards to participate in defining the future of our nation by exercising your democratic right tomorrow. I urge you to go out and vote. Do not be afraid of rumors of violence and unrest. Our security agencies have worked diligently to ensure that adequate security measures are in place. To vote in an atmosphere of openness and...
Well, that was a bit of the broadcast earlier today, the nationwide broadcast by the president, the number one citizen of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. And the high point, the president reaffirmed Nigeria's resolve to uphold democracy, insisting that the nation will not be deterred from this path.
You remembered after that speech he gave at the National Executive Committee of the APC, where he gave that infamous order to the security operatives
to be ruthless.
And then a day after, there was another broadcast, though very short, and then shared just
on Twitter,
and then other social media platforms. I said it here that I love the spirit of the election. Somehow the president has started talking to his people, and then I said there would be another broadcast. And just this morning, there's another broadcast.
You predicted
7 minutes, 7 minutes broadcast. But that was quite presidential. I love the tone of that message. Go there, cast your ballot, and then we just hope that our leaders would respect the opinion, the wish, the will of the people at the end of the day. Let us not go below what we achieved in 2015. That 2015 general election was a landmark. It was a watershed. The results, yes, the president accepted. At this point now, the entire world is watching. Whatever happens, everybody is watching. And like we pointed out here, Michael, election has gone beyond the normal or the usual domestic manipulations. Like somebody talked about ballot box snatching. That is a thing of the old. That is like celebrating a primitivity. Nobody talks about ballot box snatching. Daily, you see the IT gurus, the tech guys working on how to compromise the system. That is what we should be looking at now.
Are you encouraging election rigging?
No. We should shift our attention on how to fortify our systems, because that is where the thing is now. I mean, up until now, the US, they are still having issues with Russia because they believe that the system was manipulated all the way from Russia, to favor Donald Trump. That is still in contention. So we should shift our attention on how to control what is happening in the cyberspace, social media and all that. Nobody is talking about ballot box snatching again. It's a thing of the 90s. It's a thing of the 80s. Nobody's going to snatch any ballot box. The smart card readers are highly threatened. and INEX computers are highly threatened. So we should fortify that.
Before we move to plans for tomorrow on this station, let's talk about what the latest the electoral umpire. I'm talking about the Independent National Electoral Commission says it will include the candidates of the All Progressives Congress in Zamfara on the ballot. That's because the electoral body announced this in a statement today by the National Commission and the Chairman Voter Education Committee, Mr. Festus Okoye, and he said INEC took this decision following a ruling delivered by the Court of Appeal yesterday in Abuja, and he explained that the commission had refused to allow the candidate of the party in Zamfara to participate in the polls because of the conflicting orders of the Federal High Court, Abuja, and the Zamfara State High Court on the primaries conducted in the state. So I think it's official now.
That is settled. You know what happened? They were able to reach a political solution to that problem. The long jam they had in Rivers State, they were unable to have a political solution. What they achieved here was that one of the parties in dispute had to step down. One of the parties had to withdraw some of the case and the suit, and then that made clear the way, and they had less of external influence because in Rivers State you had a PDP seriously in court, like the other parties, challenging that the status quo should be maintained. And then with all that, in Zamfara State, it's clear now. I think Oshomole should be a happy man.
There has been reported violence in states like Kano and Kwara State. Police confirmed today that the death of 2 persons during between supporters of the PDP and the APC here in Bebiji Area Council. That's in Kano State. The command's public relations closed this and said some people sustained various degrees of fracas and were receiving treatment at various hospitals. He said no fewer than 20 vehicles were burned and 18 others were also vandalized during the incident, which occurred around 2 p.m. yesterday. But in Kwara State, a Nigerian senator has been arrested. That's a day today, just a day to the general election, which he is seeking a return to the office. A member of the PDP, Rafiu Ibrahim, was invited for questioning following allegations he orchestrated a violence that broke out in Kwara State 4 days ago. That violence, that was on Tuesday night, that incident left 2 persons dead. According to the spokesperson of the police in Kwara State, Ajayi Okesomi, he said he was invited, and it's been blamed and counter-blamed by the opposition and the ruling party in Kwara State. But political atmosphere in Kwara State has become increasingly volatile as election day approaches. That's the situation from Kwara State. Anyways, we will keep you up to date as its event unfolds tomorrow right here on Flow 94.9 FM across the length and breadth of Abia State and also across the length and breadth of this country. I think you should highlight our plans tomorrow on this station, Sampson Eze.
Well, it's a big one because as far as you are tuned and locked down on this radio station, just make Flow 94.9 FM your companion. You wouldn't miss out on anything. All the developments will give you the 411 as it drops, as it is hot. We'll serve you steamy, juicy, everything. We have our reporters all across the length and breadth of Abia State. And then we have our friends who have volunteered to help from all the neighboring states and even Nigeria. And our election studio would open by 8 a.m. after our morning show. I would open by 8 a.m. We'll grind till around 10 a.m. Take a break, come back again at 12 to 2, then 6 to 4. Then on Sunday we're continuing. So it's a comprehensive coverage of the events. You're guaranteed quality analysis, updates, and everything you desire, just make Flow 94.9 FM your companion, and you wouldn't miss out on anything.
Okay. Well, this one says on the SMS line, I wish this 2019 election will be free and fair so that most politicians will know power belongs to the people. Praying from Umuahia. Well, unfortunate incident that took place that happened just meters away from Flow 94.9 FM. Residents of Umobia, Afara Road, were thrown into confusion early today. They woke up to meet a lifeless body of a yet-to-be-identified lady. The lifeless body of the deceased lady was gathered by the resident to be gripped with tension, as many suspected that she could have been killed for ritual purpose, but was later dumped in the area after apparently that they were being trailed. Some residents of the area who spoke anonymously said they woke up this morning to behold the corpse dumped on the side of the road in this area, just some couple of meters away from this station. According to some of them, the deceased must have been strangled to death by some unscrupulous people for reasons best known to them, but later dumped her body in the area. But we want to let you know that you should be very careful. It is a very, very delicate season, I will say. So don't stay late at night, and also when you're going out in the morning, then you should get a company. Don't walk alone, and don't avoid a lonely road this particular time. It is very, very important. Be security conscious. Sampson.
Yeah, a very bad situation, but I think the security operatives, they are working
on top of the situation to unravel